I think we were under the impression that we were all good operationally, right? And I think Jason, you mentioned as well, you're like, I've got this handled, but this is sometimes I think very normal where we think that we've got it under control. And it's only when you kind of work with someone do you really start to realize and understand that, hold on, there is a totally different way of thinking about it where you can kind of get enlightened. That's the word.
Some of the painful parts were that we were very much involved in the day-to-day running of the service, having to jump in, firefighting, checking, making sure that everything was being done correctly, and to ultimately deliver a better service. A better service that allowed us to actually handle more growth. I would say within about the first 3 weeks, we were able to understand where we were moving towards and what had to change within the business.
I would just be like, it's genuinely helped us so much that now we can take on more business and smoothly. So we can genuinely go for growth. Sometimes I think that's kind of priceless. You can't really put a dollar amount on it. You know what I mean? All right, sweet. So my name is Sam Saifi. I am the co-founder of Revenue Labs. We are soon to rebrand. So keep a, keep a little placeholder there. Jason and I, we run a retention marketing agency specializing in working with e-commerce brands. And yeah, this is our third year now. So we've just finished, we finished 2 years and we're about to start on our third year, embark on that.
If we go back all the way to say the month of August, maybe early September, late August, what challenges or pain points were you experiencing before you started working with us?
So in August, we were going through some rapid growth actually in August. But the main challenges that I'd say that we were facing was we didn't realize that our operations were not kitted out for the scale that we were growing at essentially. So there was a lot bubbling under the surface that we couldn't see. And then, very soon, I guess it became evident that there were some changes to be made. So I'd say there was a level of really good growth, but then, there were some challenges that we'd see beyond August that, we couldn't really account for at the time. And yeah, pretty much I'd say where we were.
Yeah, being like almost perfect timing actually, because well, right at our highest points, we ended up starting with the consulting, and then that's where we suddenly realized how bad of a spot we were actually in with where we needed to be in terms of the operation side, the way that the team was set up, etc.
Funny enough, actually, I think we were under the impression that we were all good operationally, right? And I think Jason, you mentioned as well, you're like, I've got this handled, but this is sometimes I think very normal where we think that we've got it under control. And it's only when you kind of work with someone do you really start to realize and understand that, hold on, there is a totally different way of thinking about it where you can kind of get enlightened. But yeah, look, the way we were operating for the longest time, it worked for us. But as you begin to grow, your needs begin to change and you sometimes get blindsided by that.
How do you think these problems, the problems that you were facing at the time, impacted your business? Maybe operationally, maybe financially, maybe even psychologically?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty tough because ultimately our goal is to serve our clients in the best possible way, right? And we don't have the optimal structure to do that. We can't serve our customers in the most optimal way. So that's why we sprung into action and we made sure that we made certain changes to be able to handle that. And, we're in so much more of a better place now. It's actually astonishing in comparison. But yeah, those are some of the real challenges, right? As you grow, like you have growing pains, right? There's two types of pains I've always learned. There's like pains in business where you're not growing, and then there's pains in business where you grow. Business equals pain, but you get to choose it, right?
Also, just to add to that, I think some of the painful parts were that we were very much involved in the day-to-day running of the service, having to jump in, firefighting, checking, making sure that everything was being done correctly. But what challenges and to ultimately deliver a better service, a better service that allowed us to actually handle more growth.
If you can remember the first initial conversation and before you decided to go ahead and work with us, can you remember what made you to pull the trigger? And then, how did you find the initial step, initial strategy consultation that we had?
Yeah, I think the first way I got into contact with you was on LinkedIn. I read a post that I really resonated with, and I was kind of already half in the market looking for some help to just, like look at what we're doing. I'm always open to perspectives. Ran into your LinkedIn, was very impressed by all of the way that you presented things, yourself and Kristina. I can really tell like you're the go-to-market mind and Christina is the operational mind that ties it all together. Just the way that you guys presented, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. It made a lot of sense to me. And in fact, it also made me excited as to the journey that we're going to embark on. And it's very rare, but you actually delivered on every single promise that you kept. So this is a very rare phenomenon in this space. So that's why we're here shouting your name for the rooftops.
Appreciate that. So when did you start to see things shift in terms of operations?
Jason, you wanna say something?
Yeah, I would say within about the first 3 weeks, we were able to understand where we were moving towards and what had to change within the business. Now, of course, the easy part was actually like figuring out what we need to do and then making that jump to eventually where we had the right team in place, we had the right org structure set up, and then eventually hiring all of those team members. That took a bit of time, but I would say the most impressive part from my side was that every single week, both of you were checking in with us, making sure that, we were staying on track with what we needed to do and essentially just guiding us and coaching us, which I've honestly, I find that really impressive. And it's something I haven't seen with many other coaches or investments that we made before, where you were right in the trenches with us, helping us to actually make sure that we could follow that.
No, you guys were in the
Yeah.
trenches with us. You guys were deep in the trenches with us, like kind of troubleshooting everything on a first-hand basis, and it's exactly what we needed. Like you can't do it for us, if that's not how it works. But it was as close as doing it for us as you
Yeah.
could get. I'm grateful that we signed up. If I could go back in time, I would have done it again numerous times. That's why I'm here advocating for it. It is exactly what we needed at the time, and I think you helped us, in our business tremendously. You showed us new ways of thinking, things that we weren't doing before, new ways of setting up the business. Like really just challenged us very positively in many ways, and almost forced an evolution out of both of us. And I think that's the main thing that's super helpful.
I was just going to say, I feel that both of you brought a lot of structure to what we were doing and how we were operating on a day-to-day basis, as well as between Sam and I as business partners. You helped to kind of mediate and provide a third-person perspective on, some of the challenges that we were facing. That was invaluable. And this is also one of the things that I remembered is just, yeah, the structure that was brought in and the roadmap that you defined for us to help move towards where we needed to go. I think that was very impressive how in the beginning you worked with us to understand what it is that we were actually trying to accomplish and then reverse engineered what it would take and basically helped us stay on track with that roadmap until we eventually were able to hit pretty much what we were looking for within those 3 months.
Yeah, I agree with you that the idea of sort of re-engineering what good looks like and then sort of re-engineering it into like almost like weekly and day-to-day tasks and priorities is where the goal lies. Now, obviously, it's been like 3 months, and after our engagements, and maybe it's too soon to see measurable results. But what do you think we've been able to achieve together in terms of overall results? Maybe it's the operation, maybe structure, maybe it's finance, or how would you describe that?
I would say we have a lot better of an understanding when it comes to finance. So agency finance, like how, there's like the basic finance, which I think obviously you need to understand to get to the stage. And then there's like a more advanced finance. And I think that's something that we've definitely benefited from. I think operationally, the agency is running a lot smoother. We've got the right people in the right places. We've got, just running so much smoother than that period of time. I think those are the main areas where, we feel like there's been a real transformation just in how we're set up.
I'd also say less stress, compared to where we were a couple of months ago. It felt like every day there was something going wrong. And now, because of the frameworks and the mindsets that you've also helped us to develop, we've been able to instill those into our team and to really just become to move into the leadership positions that we needed to in order for us to truly like operate in our zone of genius within the business.
It's genuinely helped us so much that now we can take on more business and smoothly. So we can genuinely go for growth. Sometimes I think that's kind of priceless. You can't really put a dollar amount on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
What decisions do you think were going to be harder that you were supposed to take during these 3 months if you haven't worked with us?
I'd say the org chart, how we're set up, what an optimal, well-oiled team looks like. Also roles, responsibilities. So how you actually, like what the optimal team looks like, not just from a structure point of view, from a roles and responsibilities point of view, from an expectations point of view, as well as like the cadence of like, team meetings, daily stand-ups, all of these different things, the different attention each team member, requires in their own way. I think the main
Hiring is also, yeah, well, I just know very clearly that the way that you showed us how to approach hiring has fundamentally shifted the way that we will continue doing it into the future. And really to make sure we find the right person, making sure that we're diligent on how we approach it and you know exactly what to look for to find the best like a player team member, which is essential for us to be able to scale the team and to scale the agency. Yeah, I agree with what Sam has said as well. Really just figuring out that org chart, the financial side of it as well, how we make decisions about what to spend money on, and how whether or not we're able to actually spend money on something was really challenging before that we actually were able to solve that. So that's been immensely helpful as well, because now we can make better decisions for the business, and we know that we're not going to be, putting ourselves at risk in any way.
The financial side of things and the operational model is definitely the backbone of any successful agency business. I think what you've guys done extremely well is you've stuck together and you've realized how to go about aligning your business and how to align incentives between obviously yourself as co-founders and partners, but also aligning the team with regards to what needs to be done to take this business to the next level. And
Much appreciated. Appreciate you guys for showing us, like the right ways to operate. And when I say right ways, right, I always say like, obviously we were still servicing our clients, etc., in a positive way. But I think you helped us get to the next level of leadership, of thought, of knowing how to get better in general, right? Because there's always levels, right? And with that level of ambition Jason and I have, we always want to be, right up there, like right at the top in terms of how we operate. So for us, this was another kind of insight as to how we can improve not only as leaders, but as everything else. And I saw a brilliant, it was actually an Instagram short from Vusi. He's I don't know if you guys know Vusi. He's a entrepreneur from South Africa. And he says that you cannot teach leadership, right? It's impossible. There's a school you can go to for leadership. He says leadership comes, you have to earn and learn leadership. And the only way to earn and learn it is to go under certain stresses over periods of time. So it's like a rubber band, right? If you stress the rubber band, eventually it will learn, but you have to stress it above what it's able to take for it to then have a new level of elasticity. And I think this is how you learn leadership. So at every different stage, you're going to have different stresses that you go through. And for us, we were going through one of those stresses, which was helping us evolve into the next level. And it was so valuable to have both yourself and Kristina by our side during the stressor and just help us navigate it and get the real lesson from it. You can have a stressor and it could just lead you to just pure stress, or you can come out evolved with a different perspective. And I think, we were very fortunate to have the latter.
totally, 100%. I think that the resilience part of it is incredibly valuable. And I definitely agree with you. Like the true leadership is fundamentally about resilience and ability to stay calm and focused under pressure, regardless what's happening around you, whether it's negative or positive, and focus on what you ultimately want to achieve. That I'm a big person when it comes to one word expressions. What's one word that sums up your experience with us and why?
One word. Yeah, you love the one word question, don't you? I'd say clarity. You gave us a lot of clarity because I feel like there was a lot of fog in terms of how to navigate the waters we were on. And it's almost like you guys were a sage. So I'd say clarity for me was if it had to choose one word, it would be clarity.
And for you, Jason?
Yeah, basically perspective. It's like we had the intention of what we thought needed to happen in order to grow the agency, but you were able to point out how we were thinking about it, what needed to change in these certain ways, and that made all the difference.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with you and helping you guys and helping your business go.
Yeah,
amazing.
100%, man.